Yeah, and there's a clip. You have a Cameo clip, if I'm not mistaken.
I do. Yeah. Let me go ahead and pull it up right about now.
Let's play this because John Campea, there's no secret. I'm a big John Campea fan. Yeah. I really, really am. And he posed a great question in this little segment right here about Chapek and about what's going on. Let's play that clip, and then on the tail end of that, we'll talk about it.
Sure.
Because honestly, what I want to believe here, I want to believe that what we have here is a situation of Bob Chapek realizing, you know what, we handled this wrong. And look what a mess it's become. Let's reevaluate our approach. You know what? Get me ScarJo's representation on the phone. We're going to settle this. We're going to do right by her. We're going to settle this, and we're going to move forward. That's what I hope happened. Because you guys know I don't have a lot of faith in Bob Chapek as the CEO of Disney. I want to. I'm looking for a silver lining here. And I'm really disgusted by the way he's handled this job so far. But I want to believe this is Bob Chapek going, you know what? Yeah, I made some mistakes starting off this job. This was one of those mistakes, and I'm learning a lesson from it, and let's get this thing fixed. Rob, that's what I want to believe. The pessimistic, jaded side of me, though, is wondering if this wasn't just Big Papa Iger, who is still the chairman of Disney, who has been trying to let Bob Chapek find his own way. A part of me has to wonder if this was it Bob Chapek learning from his mistakes and correcting it? Or was this Iger getting on the phone and saying, I've had enough of this shit. Stop this now. Get her on the phone and settle and give her anything she wants because we're the ones who screwed this up. So I like to believe it was Chapek fixing it. Maybe it was. Fingers crossed it was. But this might have been Iger just saying, enough, fix it. I don't know, Rob, what do you?
Okay, so this is a very interesting clip from the Campea show. And I don't think he's too far off base here. And actually, he's kind of presenting it as an either or situation. Either Chapek learns his lesson, or Bob Iger was like, yeah, no, fix this shit right now, right? It was an either. He kind of presented it either or, right? Yeah. I think it's both. I think it's both. I think Bob Iger got on the phone and probably chewed Chapek out and said, hey, fix this. This is ridiculous. This is terrible PR. This has huge ramifications. And I think that Chapek learned his lesson because we've already seen, like, I think you've already mentioned in this conversation, like Chapek has already talked, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, about how they're kind of resetting the contracts to reflect this new era of theatrical and streaming. So it seems like Chapek got the message loud and clear. You know, this is a new day, and we have to kind of address it and move forward. They don't want the confusion anymore with talent. So to answer Campea's question, I think it's both. I think both things that he's saying probably occurred. What do you think on that?
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, look, it's tough to say what the involvement is from Bob Iger currently right now. I mean, we've heard from the traders that he was horrified and all this kind of stuff, and we heard like, oh, he's on his boat, he doesn't care at all. Hard to get a read on Bob Iger at the moment, but we know that Chapek kind of, I mean, he course corrected, right? I mean, he did have a few weeks ago. It was reported in the trades that a new kind of representative on behalf of Disney on kind of talent relations was being installed, and that's when we saw kind of a lot of changes in the dynamic after that point. So obviously, I think the lesson I think he's learned is that he, maybe. Obviously, he doesn't deal with talent still to this day, but let's have better people in the advisory role and in the representative role work with these talent relationships in a way that Chapek would never be quite adequate for, I think. So there was definitely a response here, whether it be from Iger or from Chapek solely. It's really hard to say. I would have to assume with you though. I think Iger was involved on some level. Hard to say how much though.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, he definitely look. Chapek has said many times he wants to meet consumers where they are.
Yeah.
Chapek, whether you love him or hate him, is a money guy. He's a money guy. So he's going to go where he feels that the customer is, where he feels he can get them, he can leverage the most money.
Yeah.
Look, Chapek obviously sees this as a PR mess. I think he did. I think he definitely did take, whether we know it or not or whatever. I think he definitely did take steps to course correct. I think he definitely doesn't want to repeat this problem again. And I don't think we will. I think this is a flash in the pan. I think that, look, we've already seen it with like Emma Stone, where they've kind of gave her everything she wants or whatever to do the Cruella 2 because she said that she was considering her options legally. I think Disney really did learn their lesson. I think they don't want this to happen again. And I think that they're going to do everything they can to make sure it doesn't happen again. Yeah. So I think a lesson was learned here. And I do think Iger was talking to Chapek and to some degree at least and saying like, look, man, you got to fix this. This is terrible optics,
Yeah, well, two things on that. One, just quickly, John Campea alluded to the fact that they might have gotten word that arbitration was going to happen. I believe that might be accurate. That there was a chance, at least, that arbitration. This wasn't going to go straight to arbitration. If it didn't, that would have been a huge. That would have been a huge black eye. You think these little catty comments between each other were big? This would have been huge potentially. So that might have had something to do with it, obviously. But the other thing too is, and the bigger thing, $40 million. That's the number that Deadline's reporting. That's a very small price to pay to have not only this all go away, but to restore those talent relationships within the industry, right? And even just on the ScarJo level, remember one of the big things was. We're looking forward to work with her on the Tower of Terror project, right? So there were like other ancillary projects that were kind of in the works here, and let's not forget, Kevin Feige, he was none too pleased with everything that happened here either. So $40 million, you get ScarJo back, you have this kind of entertainment industry drama go away, and you get Kevin Feige back into your good graces. That's a small price to pay. I mean, honestly, this was the best option possible. Not just for us as consumers, but I think for Chapek himself.
Yeah, absolutely. And it makes you wonder why they didn't just do this from the beginning. I really do
blows my mind.
It blows my mind too. I mean, I really do believe they didn't think it would get to this level. I think that they thought like, okay, we'll ignore it, it'll go away, I guess, and it didn't go away, and they learned their lesson, which is good. You have to, at the very bare minimum, you have to at least make talent feel like, look, when there's a contract, we're going to honor it,
Yeah.
And so I think that at the very bare minimum, and I think that, I think this does a lot to kind of repair that a little bit. It'll be interesting to see, because I know the Russo brothers were kind of iffy on working with Disney again and Marvel because of this whole situation. It'll be interesting to see, like, if in the next few days or weeks we see something with them, a new deal for more Marvel stuff. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. Yeah, but I think they're going to focus a lot on talent now. I think they're going to focus a lot on making sure that this doesn't happen again. It was a big black eye. Even if you don't necessarily fully agree with ScarJo, there's no denying it was a black eye. It was a PR mess,
Oh, absolutely. And I think the bigger picture here is, I think talent just, they just want assurances that they're not going to get completely at the end of this, right? They're not going to get, they're going to be at least, have their deals honored, be taken care of on a compensatory compensation level, right? That if you enter the streaming game into this kind of new streaming area with these studios, and let's be honest here, let's not gloss over the fact that maybe other studios are putting pressure on Disney to bury this as well, because this makes the entire industry look bad, kind of thing, right? I think talent just wanted assurances that, hey, look, you'll be taken care of, and they definitely, I think they definitely made that part of their statement.